like play Rust at the same time. Like come on, man.
I experienced that too, Chuck.
The whole country did apparently.
Fascinating.
And yeah, that was a thing this morning. So yeah, it was Netflix rather than us. But once I did go upstairs, though, I put it back about 5 minutes into the broadcast, like behind or whatever, and it played fairly well from there on. But shit, it was like.
Well, yeah, I think, if you want to go back and rewatch the fight, it's going to be perfectly viewable now in top-notch quality. But I think now that we're talking about that, it's interesting because I totally experienced that as well. The whole you're mentioning that everyone did. There's a whole bunch of chatter on it online about everyone. Like, in fact, I remember when we were playing Rust, watching the preliminary fights, it was already beginning to do that buffering bullshit. And I remember seeing people in the Rust chat going, fucking Netflix sucks. Like the stream sucks. And I was wondering, why are these guys flipping out on Netflix? Now I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering that makes me curious, as a considering what I do in the work world when we're not podcasting, it makes me wonder, like, what kind of language was in the contracts between Netflix and these fight promoters in regard to like transmission quality, and are there any penalties or anything like that for that? Because man, they really did. Like, I mean, I was, let me put it this way. I was not able to watch the fight live without being inconvenienced by Netflix.
Yeah. So imagine the IT team this morning at Netflix calling the salespeople. They're like, "Hey, we told you." Like,
Yeah. Chuck, we're at the big 6-0.
yeah, what is that? That's not the diamond. 75th, diamond anniversary. This is probably the obsidian, I think.
Oh, okay. This Obsidian anniversary. I'll take it. Episode 60. This is we're plugging along here, aren't we?
Yeah, can't stop.
Damn, 60 episodes, man.
Man.
Well, welcome gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs. We don't discriminate. This is the New Wave Gaming Podcast. ChukTomahawk, what's shaking, my man?
Man, I'm a little groggy this morning, like from the stayed up and watched that fight last night. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, that was a big night for the boxing world there. Paul versus Tyson. Yeah, I watched it too, man, and well, it was fun to watch. Of course, it wasn't like, I don't know. It wasn't like I thought there was going to be a lot more action.
Yeah, I feel like if you just go to the replay of it and watch, like you watch when Jake Paul came out in the car and everything, and kind of walked on in with his entourage, and then they panned to Mike, like when it was finally time for Mike's. They showed all that shit about Mike, and then they showed him. Like, that's kind of how I felt about the whole thing. Like the look on his face. I don't know. It just seemed like, I don't know, he looked tired to me. Like, even before it was over, and I don't know, just like, I just remember when he used to walk in, like there would be that music going, and there would be something about his, like, gait that almost kind of went to the beat, even of the music, with it. And he just seemed more like me walking to, go... answer my phone when I don't want to answer it.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh man. So, I've always wondered, like, because with these like huge, massive events, whatever kind of event it may be, like, but if you're like the headline for that thing, like, these are all like regular people at the end of the day. What if you have a really shitty night the night before? Like, what if you just don't sleep well?
Oh,
like,
yeah, you got poo or something. Like, just think your poo schedule got all jacked up because you flew on a plane or something. Like, and I'm going, I just felt, being closer to Mike's age, like I just identified with it so much. He was like one of the heroes of my childhood, watching him fight, and Jesus Christ, and it just,
Dude, I remember when he bit that ear. I remember it perfectly. I was old enough for that one.
You can't beat Father Time, and I've often said that, like, I think of Mike as like still yet, even after last night, like, I think of him as a great story, and like why you shouldn't cancel people, because like at some points in his life, I feel like Mike's, had some failures here and there, but in the total picture, you can tell, like, it's not the same dude, man. He's evolved over time. time and learned and, became, more than he was, I feel like, in a lot of ways, like, just spiritually and in so many other ways than boxing. But and I guess like that's what my takeaway is, like I just want to be happy, like you got a payday and things. But
yeah, there's like, I guess there's an argument out there like of like, he didn't need to do that, or he didn't need to get that fight, because it does go on like the official record, I guess, and stuff like that. And I think they did end up Jake Paul won that fight by decision. So it's on the record, but at the same time, like in the multiverse where he didn't take that fight, I think all of us are saying, gosh, what if he had taken that fight? So it is what it is. And from the gaming aspect, I think we can all like remember Punch Out. And the memes that were generated, prior to this fight. I think there were some memes out there where it said like, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it said like Nintendo had predicted this like 30 years in advance or something, or something like that. Whenever that game came out, because how there's that little blonde dude, what's his name, Glass Joe or something.
Yeah.
He's gonna fight Iron Mike, and if you look at him and then you put the pictures of Jake Paul and Mike Tyson there, it's like, oh my gosh, dude, it's them.
It is, yeah. I guess Jake Paul, like, he's pretty ripped up, like strong looking dude, like and I guess if I really think about it, like I feel like they had some kind of agreement that they weren't just going to knock each other out or something, because it seems like. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I'd have saw that, like if I'd have saw Mike get knocked out at that age, like I would have just, it would have.
Yeah, not to like hang on this boxing story too long, but it would have been interesting to have been like a fly on the wall in the agreement there in the meeting room when the managers of both sides were like, all right, guys, let's really like put all our cards on the table here. What are we looking at? Like, this is an official boxing match, but we're also at the negotiating table. So, it would have been cool to see or hear to what extent everything was prearranged, because we do have an idea of how much they made. I think the record's out there. I think I think I saw word of like 40 million for Jake Paul and 20 million for Tyson, or something like that. We don't know. There might be more to it than that, but it like. I mean, bottom line, like, was the fight rigged? That's an interesting question. But
there had to be some gentleman's agreements, or like you say, like somewhere in the contract there was something. But
my subconscious says, or my conscious says, that it was rigged, and I only say that because I was just really focusing on looking at how they fought, and I just looked at mostly on Jake Paul's side. I felt like he could have been way more like. Like a Rottweiler, just freaking, because and it just seemed to me like he was going easy on in terms of, not that Mike Tyson needed anyone going easy on him. And I'm not trying to say that either, but it just seemed like there wasn't quite the aggressive like engagement there, and like raw, just I don't know.
Yeah, because and it's almost like in boxing you can make the argument that like he didn't do that because he didn't want to expose himself to getting counterpunched or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you'd have to think, especially with 10 seconds to go in the end or something, like or just at some point. And I don't know how to feel about it, but it is kind of crazy that like it is an official fight. Like you could bet on that shit, and like. Yeah, we're all looking at it like there's something going on here.
I mean, each corner said DraftKings. I was like, okay,
it is kind of wild. It'd have been a smart bet on Jake Paul, I think, just looking at all of his other promotions, and stuff, and it'd be interesting. Like, if like.
Oh, and dude, sorry to interrupt, but did you notice how like at least this was my perception? I don't know if I'm wrong, but it seemed to me like. They were booing Jake Paul hard, like the people that were there. Like
we all felt that. Like, we all felt that. Like you know what I mean. Like in some ways, I do respect him. Like he's obviously I guess I was having a conversation somebody this morning about it, and it's kind of like I just started thinking about it almost more like I watched like a wrestling match or something, a WWE type wrestling match, Hulk Hogan style, and he's obviously a good promoter, and yeah, he caused me to sit up past my bedtime. Like, you don't get that out of me a lot, like, so,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
but in fact, when we were playing Rust and you kind of mentioned that you were intending to watch that fight, and then you mentioned that it was like well over an hour into the future, and it was already late for us, gaming wise. I was like, oh damn! I intentionally didn't say anything too because I didn't want to give you any ideas, but like I was like, in the back of my mind, fellow gamers, I was like, oh damn! I think I'm gonna have ChukTomahawk for like another hour and 20 minutes at least, and this was already like. Yeah. We were pressing 10 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
So
I drug out there, and one of the reasons that I think if I had it to do over again, I might have just kept playing Rust and watched it, downstairs here. But because my TV kept buffering, that was something everybody kept talking about. I thought it was because we were playing Rust, but I thought, man, my internet should handle this. Like I understand, like the broadband should. It should be able to do this, like stream Netflix and like play Rust at the same time. Like, come on, man.
I experienced that too, Chuck.
The whole country did apparently. And yeah, that was a thing this morning. So yeah, it was Netflix rather than us. But once I did go upstairs, though, I put it back about 5 minutes into the broadcast, like behind or whatever, and it played fairly well from there on. But shit, it was like.
Well, yeah, I think, if you want to go back and rewatch the fight, it's going to be perfectly viewable now in top-notch quality. But I think now that we're talking about that, it's interesting because I totally experienced that as well. The whole you're mentioning that everyone did. There's a whole bunch of chatter on it online about everyone. Like, in fact, I remember when we were playing Rust, watching the preliminary fights, it was already beginning to do that buffering bullshit. And I remember seeing people in the Rust chat going, fucking Netflix sucks. Like the stream sucks. And I was wondering, why are these guys flipping out on Netflix? Now I get it. Yeah. So I'm wondering that makes me curious, as a considering what I do in the work world when we're not podcasting, it makes me wonder like what kind of language was in the contracts between Netflix and these fight promoters in regard to like transmission quality, and are there any penalties or anything like that for that? Because man, they really did like, I mean, I was, let me put it this way. I was not able to watch the fight live without being inconvenienced by Netflix.
Yeah. So imagine the IT team this morning at Netflix calling the salespeople. They're like, hey, we told you. Like,
yeah. We told you we needed to talk about that freaking bandwidth.
Yeah.
Basically half the nation tuned in last night. We're not used to that.
The capsule kernel blew up on us. And it's
like some tech walked out of the like Netflix like engineering, into the parking lot to smoke a stogie and watch a satellite blow up in the sky. There's so many people watching that. Like, oh God,
whoa,
what the fuck? Jesus. Red alert, Captain. We're at DEFCON 1. We need to figure this out.
It was, dude. It was, everybody was watching it. Like, and yeah. It's interesting too that like, cause I've been there in Mexico, like trying to watch the Super Bowl and stuff and experience that, like to, almost, it seems like a few years ago we were all on cable TV, and now everybody's on the internet, and
yeah,
it seemed like, yeah.
Man, that was, that's funny. That's funny. But anyways, yeah. And the gaming memes around it were funny. Were classic. In fact, I might even look for an old Punch-Out emulator just to, just for fun.
He does kind of look like old Glass Joe there. What is the character that we play in Punch-Out's name?
That I think, isn't that him?
Isn't it?
Oh no. Wait, isn't it?
That's a good question.
I'd have to check, dude.
I feel like one of the first guys you fight might be named Glass Joe, and then like the guy we're fighting with is like little something, like little tiger.
Here, let me bring it up real quick.
Little tiger.
Why not, right?
God.
Let's see. Names of characters in Punch-Out. It's the first one, right?
It is. Yeah, the one on the Wii is just different.
Okay, let's see here. Bald Bull, Glass Joe, Super Macho Man, Mr. Sandman, Bear Hugger, Don Flamenco, Don Flamenco, Piston Hondo, Great Tiger, King Hippo, Soda Popinski, Doc Lewis, Aaron Ryan, Little Mac, Von Kaiser. Man, there's a bunch. These must
Little
be...
Little Mac, that's the dude. That's the dude. That's who you are.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Little Mac, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, here it is. Little Mac, that's us. Yep.
Yeah.
And Glass Joe is the one that they compared with
the looks of Jake Paul.
Yeah, Jake Paul. There's Mike Tyson.
Yikes.
No shoot. Yeah, the original ones were the Von Kaiser, Piston Honda, Don Flamingo, King Hippo, Great Tiger, Bald Bull, Soda Popinski. Oh shoot, what's this one here? Mr. Sandman, Macho Man, Mike Tyson, and then of course your character, Little Mac. Yeah.
They did
funny.
A great job with Mike Tyson in that game, man. Like I thought they super captured like the kind of the way he punches and stuff, you know, like.
In the face, like they really, considering the graphics of that game, they really nailed it.
I remember he used to just beat the living, like just crap out of me. Like it was just hopeless. But now, like it seems like I see that like there's still a ton of people that stream this game, and usually what they're trying to do is get a TKO on him, like get him knocked out 3 times, and I want to say it's less than a minute. Like it's super short, and they just start it over if like, you know, anything goes wrong, like they know they're not going to make that record or whatever, and they'll have a stream, you know, and shit. There'll be like 100 people.
I wonder
watching.
if that's even possible, though.
Oh yeah,
isn't the game programmed? Isn't it programmed in a certain way that you're not able to knock them out until like a certain amount of damage has been?
They get it done. Like if
dude, gamers can do anything.
You get that perfect run going, you know. And like I say, if you're just starting it over, as soon as you see that you didn't, you know, you got hit, you're like, okay, yeah, it ain't gonna work.
Dude,
I used to play a lot of video games.
I've done that.
Hell yeah,
I've done that, dude. Have you done that before in other games?
That's the beauty of playing at home. Like. You know, because you couldn't do that at the arcade. Like, you had to just ride it out, you know.
You had to just fucking spend more money. Or just like...
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, just start it over. Like, you know, and to get the run going, you know, that's kind of the thing. Yeah. Well... So they'd
play... Okay, so they're just trying to get as many hits in as possible and then get the... And eventually repeat that until they can get 3 knockouts?
Yeah.
Are they trying to do that in the first round?
Oh, yeah. Like I forget, dude. It's yeah, maybe that's it. They get it done before the first round's over. Like, not in 1 minute, but it's I mean, you got to be perfect. He kind of comes out there and does this little thing with his hands, like you know, and they've just got it all timed, you know, and they dodge it and fucking get a couple, and it kind of builds on itself. Once you get him, you know, get that early first knockout, like you've kind of got his health meter doesn't go all the way back up. You
kind of got your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the edge of your jaw, Mike.
Sup, what time it is?
Sup.
What you see?
Little Mac time. Big Mike.
Maybe they'll put old Jake Paul in the next boxing game, but...
Do you remember what the last game you played where you had to do that, like where you were like on the wire, where you're like fuck, and then you got to start over, restart the game?
I tell you what was a little bit of an experience like this. I think you might have got a dose of is when I whipped out that slaps and beans game there the other day. Like it's kind of set up like that. Like I don't think I knew enough about like how it was structured to know I needed to start over, but it's definitely that arcade, you know, 2D platformer, you know, moving sideways. Kind of thing. Did you get a chance to play?
Yeah, Pepe and I played. We played like the first the first level, and we got to a point where we eventually, we stopped playing because I wanted to let him play Battlefield, which is what he wanted to play.
Right.
But we were having a great time, and I wanted to work on some other stuff. So I said, "Hey, let's try this game. We'll do the first level or until we die," and and we had a bunch of fun playing it. But we got to a point where basically a mini game starts, and you have to like shoot. You have to make sure you shoot all of the bad guys with at least one bullet. And like
it goes.
Like, it'll like freeze, and the crosshairs will move across the screen, and you gotta like wait to line it up with the bad guy perfectly, and then hit the button so that once you've like hit the button and you've used up all the rounds, then the cutscene will start, and they'll be like pap 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 pap, and they'll get all the guys right. So we got through the first one, and then we got to the final one. And we couldn't do it, dude. We couldn't pull it off. It was so...
Well, that first guy, it only kind of
of
goes around that first guy for a second. Like, it's not like it cycles back around very much, or you even have much, to base that on. I went through that with that. But, I imagine if you were doing speed runs in there, it would do it. But for me, like since I've been, where I really just, was on that program of starting it over, it's been back to like, Super Nintendo type days. I imagine, or Sega.
I can't remember with precision, but I can definitely like reflect on games like GoldenEye 64 or GoldenEye 007, which, we don't need to get into that game because we did a whole episode on that game. Check it out, fellow gamers. But I remember to unlock a lot of the cheat codes in that game, you had to do certain things that required specific specific actions in any given level. Like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but if you wanted to unlock like unlimited ammo, you had to do this within a certain amount of time, and and you had to. So I remember playing games like that and just like not meeting those checkpoints and just going, I'm so close. Oh shoot, I'm not gonna get over here. I'm so close. And then, like boom or whatever, the door would shut or something would happen and be like, fuck. And I didn't make it right. And then it'd be like, restart,
Well,
so that's when I used to do that a lot, not for streams, not for like breaking records or trying to do a challenge or anything, but mostly like I remember trying to like unlock stuff to get perks and whatever. And I'd fail and I have to restart. Fuck.
Well, what's I always remember being the killer to that is having a sibling, like you having a brother, like when you're taking turns on thing, it's like you're like, you get a mulligan, like you're like, no man, that counts as your turn, like it's my turn. Yeah, I remember having to. I didn't play that much with my sister, but yeah, definitely if I had a friend over or something, like it was kind of like it's your home court. Like you can, like I felt like that gets you one restart. You're like, oh, no, something's wrong here. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and you start to like negotiate with your own conscience, your own like moral code, does this count as sharing like mama taught me about sharing with my friends? Like, this isn't a regular toy. Do I get one restart and then I'm not sharing anymore?
Well, and the validity of your argument, it starts changing like the longer you've been going. Like you get hit first. The first like Koopa gets you on Mario or whatever, like you're like, okay, you can start it over, like because as the spectator partner, like you're sitting there, you're waiting on your turn. So if I have to watch you already, play half a turn and no.
Yeah, and it also depends on what kind of a mood you're in. You may have just been grounded like the day before, and you're just getting back on your console, and then now you got a guest and shit. It depends on what kind of a host you're feeling, how hostly you want to be.
Yeah, plus you're trying to develop your game. It's like I just learned that lesson. I just learned the timing of that situation, and I want to get back there and. We're playing Kung Fu. Like I know, he's going to throw that thing head high this time, and I got to duck under it.
Yeah. Especially like back then when, there were like the whole save concept was much more fundamental in the gameplay. Like you got to be careful with your saves. You got to be careful with the way things were adjusted back then. Yeah, and one of the most pains was like when that kind of stuff would happen was when your guest, when a friend came over or a sibling, when they suck at gaming. So not only did you have to like give them a turn, but you had to watch them just eat ass at it and just face.
Your girlfriend was the best. My girlfriend, like, you know, like you try to get her to play it, and you're just like, it's like exhausting to watch. You're just like, what are you doing?
You know, and then you look at them like that, like the way they're holding the controller. That's the worst.
You just don't even know where to start. Yeah. Like when you're trying to show your parents something on the computer and you're like double click, you know, and they double click, like, you know, there's about 5 seconds in between each click, you know, and you're just, just never mind. Like, let's go get some hot dogs or something. Like,
yeah, you'll figure it out. I'm going to go mow the lawn real quick.
Yeah, just hang in there.
I think there's someone at the door.
Yeah. God. Yeah.
You just walk right to the other computer and start ordering one of those cell phones with big numbers on it. Might as well. And a big whistle.
God, it is hard to watch sometimes. But yeah, you know, nowadays at least we're, you know, the multiplayer. We're all getting, we all got our own thing to play with there.
Yeah.
Online co-op.
That's
Thank
hilarious,
God. It takes a lot of that out of it. Jesus.
That's fine. But yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, that is the beauty of gaming at home.
Yeah, it was tough in those first days, like, because, you know, the first saves too were just, you know, you just paused it and like left that shit on there. You know, and like, you know, just hoped your dad didn't turn to channel 3 and be like, hey, you're running the light bill up over
here. Yeah, and they were, I mean, I bet those things used to pull more energy than they pull these days. You know?
Yeah, because you learn.
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
But
yeah, because you get in that situation,
so
you know, like where you made it through a tough part and you kind of pause it for a while, like, you know, and that whole bit Theo does about it, you know, you gotta work out for a few days. Yeah. Get your mind right.
Go tell somebody.
Your dad comes back into town. Get grandma over here. She's my good luck charm.
I'm about to reach the final boss. That's hilarious.
Anymore, but...
dude, so how have you been feeling about our little Rust ventures lately? It's been kind of fun.
It is fun. I feel like
it's like instant.
Dude, the first one, like, you've got us on such populated servers, man. Jesus Christ. Like,
they're not even that populated for Rust, for Rust, considering.
You've seen what's happened to me most of the time, but the times I've played when you weren't around, I was just getting killed constantly. Like, it just seems like the first server, it seemed like it wasn't so much that bases were built up really big or anything, because I think it wiped, you know, fairly quickly. But yeah, it just seemed like it's a tough world out there. We had that one guy, Neen God or something, that just like everywhere he was rolling me up. Dude, yeah,
we could not get away from that bull, dude.
Yeah.
No, he was rolling both of us up. I mean, every time I got nailed by somebody, it was always that guy.
Yeah, and you know, I think like a good perspective I can give to you, like, the short answer is like, yeah, it's been fun, and I love how instant it is, and just, you know, the dystopian nature of the survival in that game has kind of got its own vibe, you know, sort of to it too. And
dude, the music, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But like I was thinking, you know, kind of comparing it to, because I still have been playing some Ark, you know, PvP, and yeah, the high population servers and the PvP has its own flavor. It seems like all these games we play with, like I think like you can kind of transfer over like your experience in Warzone and that kind of thing, but it feels like these games have no aim assist whatsoever, so it's very different. You know what I'm saying? That's like a flavor of the PvP. Like the new Ark Ascended, like, kind of has that lock-on feature, which, you know, I think at some point we kind of, you know, sounded like a bad idea, but I'm kind of like that, because My God, man.
You started like that?
Yeah, because I have lost some, like in our experience on Rust, I've lost some PvP battles I should not have lost. Like just last night, like I didn't even like go into a lot of detail with you about the one that I lost. Like the last one I lost was just stupid. You know, like I had like way more shit than the person that killed me. Like, you know, and just struggling in the menu, you know, just trying to switch weapons and.
Dude, okay, I know you're at this point you're probably getting real used to the controls, but if you haven't modified them a little bit, I really think you should experiment with these. Oh, you don't want to try that.
No, I'm not like completely against it, but it is sort of a thing, you know. Like I feel like the WASD and all that like is similar to like Valheim and like you know shit that I spent like hundreds of hours doing. So, you know, it's kind of like
I use those.
Yeah. I'm saying like you know, I'm fairly comfortable with that. Or I'm also at a place like where I just haven't used it so recently. I kind of want to, you know, kind of use it the way I've always had it set up, you know, and then make a change from there. You know, is more how I feel about it probably.
For sure.
So it's not like a never thing. It's just not time for that yet. You know, like.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like one of the changes that I found, and then all of these things I learned on like these YouTube videos and stuff is there's a feature like, for example, in Rust. Any Rust players out there listening will know this, but you know, like let's say you come up like let's say you nail someone. And you're like, hell yeah. But you know that you know how Rust is. There's another guy like peeking in a bush somewhere and you got to be quick all the time because someone's always watching. So you nail the guy, he's down, you run up and you're going to loot him. And you loot him and his inventory opens up, right? And you can see on the right, the screen pops up and you can see on the right-hand side all the stuff he has. And let's say there's a bunch of badass stuff in there and you want to just get all of it. And you know you have enough room in your inventory and you want to do it fast. You already know where I'm going with this.
Hold down H, yeah.
Okay. Now, yeah, you can do that. You can take the time it takes to hold down H and then do all that stuff. Or you can swap H to one of the side buttons on your mouse like I did, one that I hardly ever use. And I'll just take my mouse, hold down that button, and just go, and it just goes right into my inventory, and then I run off. It takes like literally almost a full second less.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a full second that someone could, you know,
that makes sense.
nail,
yeah.
Just little tiny things like,
oh yeah, because you know there are people out there that are probably just going one thing at a time. Even like, you know, they're like, I'll take this, and you know, that's the way I started. You know, like, but
or like even if you know you're gonna hover take everything, it's so much faster to use the mouse key, because you're gonna use the mouse anyways, versus looking for H on the keyboard and holding that down. And then another like a really easy one that I liked is I noticed that your main action button, like the button you use to open doors, to access inventories, all that, the default one is E, which is kind of sitting next to the W. But for me, I swapped E with F and F with E. So the action button now is F instead of E. So it's right there next to my D index finger, making it just like whoop, 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 super fast instead of going up, which that might just be a me thing in terms of comfort, going to the side versus up. But yeah, just little like, and I swapped out, I took the crouch thing, which I think is control, which just seems so hard for me. Control's so far away to crouch. I swapped it with the caps lock.
That's a little closer.
That's a little bit easier. Just little adjustments. But dude, speaking of keyboards and Rust and stuff, I've been having so much fun, and I want to get so much better at this that I ordered that little weird like side keypad thing, and I'm supposed to get it today, dude. And it's specifically to like make it so that I don't have to be like this, and then with the mouse just kind of like grab my pressure, and I can have this hand over here now doing its thing, and then the mouse here, and then the screen in the middle, and we're gonna be. They're not even going to need to wipe the map. We're going to wipe it for them.
I think that thing will be more comfortable for you. It is kind of a weird. Like I like to turn my keyboard kind of sideways to make it more comfortable anyway.
Yeah.
Because of like it just seems like eventually my wrist kind of gets sore of just sitting there.
See, you can. That's a perk you have on a proper desktop.
Yeah.
Yeah. My screen is stuck to the keyboard.
Oh, gee, yeah. I didn't even think
I'm
of
on a
that. Yeah,
laptop.
you'd really have to torque yourself, don't you?
Oh, dude, I'm like my pressure.
Oh, you're gonna love that thing then. My God, you'll be like a whole new man.
Dude.
I do got to get better at PvP in that game though. Like I think for me I was just kind of panicking. It seemed like, and because when I did play before, I played on some servers where you definitely ran into people, but it was much more sparse. Like, you could spend a decent whole session and not deal with people. But
I have an idea. When we're done potting and when we game next, which I suspect will be sometime this weekend, maybe later on, we should go on to one of the combat arenas on Rust, one of those Rust servers where you can practice.
Yeah, I remember that.
We should just go on there just for like at least an hour, and then we can experiment with all of the different types of weapons, man, and then you can kind of like practice on moving target, because you can do static targets, moving targets, proper PvP, like you can go fight other players that are there to fight as well that just want a PvP only. We could go in as duos, and then we can work on our PvP, and we can get good with our bows, with all those weapons that are like that you got to be good at.
Yeah,
the bow, the crossbow, the AK, all those little things.
Yeah,
especially the AK, man. The kick on that thing is the Rust AK recoil is like has a reputation. It's renowned. It's like getting good at the AK in Rust it's no small feat.
I got to figure out too. Like I was getting taken out by some turrets yesterday, and I don't know exactly how. Like, so when you see a decent sized base, you just got to kind of stay back from it completely, or what's the key to avoiding those?
Well, when we're in next, I'll show you. You can kind of spot them. You can see the turrets, or you can see like their emplacements. We just got to look for it. In fact, the base that I set up, I was playing a little bit this morning, and I had a very successful run this morning. Oh my gosh, this is the thing about Rust, man. And I want to go back to this actually before I forget. But I had a really great run this morning. I was going out to just harvest some like resources to farm some stone and wood and metal. And I realized that at the airfield, which is very close to our base, where on this new map, which we gotta clan up, by the way, still, we're right by the airfield. So I noticed there was a cargo crate there, and it was just okay. And then it was there for a while, so I was like, I don't think anyone's going for this thing, and I decided to go for it. And I had already like farmed a bunch of like really good resources. I had a bunch on me. And on the way there, I was hitting barrels and stuff, just like, I'm just, you know what? If I lose everything, no worries. It's Rust. And anyways, I'll try to make it quick. I got over there, started the timer on the cargo crate, because there's a timer on it. You have to like hack it. And then it's 15 minutes, dude. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Isn't there like a tank or something over there guarding those things? Or
not on that one. not on the airfield. But so anyways, I'm like, okay, 15 minutes. So I just started running around the airfield, just hitting barrels, getting everything. And I went inside the buildings and the hangars, and I got all of the loot in the military crates, and I just recycled all of it, man. And I got thousands upon thousands of metal shards and high quality metal and scrap, Chuck, a bunch of scrap, which is what we need to to advance. And then by the time I was done with all that, the timer was up, and I did realize there was another person in the airfield. He knew, and he went up. I was hiding in a van, like watching the crate finish its last 2 minutes, and I noticed someone run up to it, and they're like, oh, okay. They obviously saw that someone had activated the timer, but they ran off. So it's like, okay, dude. And by that point, Chuck, dude, I was like, my heart, I had so much stuff on me already, because I had recycled all of that stuff, all of it, man. And my heart was racing, and all I had was a crossbow, just a simple crossbow, when it was actually about to break. And the guy that had ran in, he was kitted up, dude. He would have, you know. I mean, I might have won that battle. Who knows? But he was probably gonna, because I'm a noob with PvP too. Anyways, I look at it, crate. The light goes green on the crate. I run up to it. I hit the hover button, dude. Just and I realized that it was a military cargo drop, right? So there was a really nice rifle in there. So I immediately swapped out the crossbow for the rifle, and I bolted, dude. I just started running, dude. And now here's my heart was already thumping, right? I could literally like feel my heart just going. And dude, the second I finished the hover swap loot thing and I got off the crate, I heard an arrow just land right next to my feet, dude. And I was like, no. Dude. And I was just running, Chuck. And every like 5 or 6 seconds, I could hear a.
Could you tell what direction they were in? Or?
I didn't even. I kept alt. I kept holding alt to look back, because you know how you can look back while running, which is something I love about Rust. I've never seen that in any other like of the games that I love. Only in Rust, where you can like you're just full sprint and you can look back. Oh, I love that. I kept looking back. I could not see a single target. I couldn't see anyone, man. I didn't see any Bobs. I didn't see any Zergs. I didn't see any scientists. Nothing, dude. I couldn't see anything. But every few seconds, I'd hear like an arrow, and I could see the arrows like landing by my feet. Like it wasn't like some weird sound effect. My heart was racing, Chuck, racing, dude. So, conclusion. You know, I don't even know if ARCs ever made me feel like that, dude. I was like, I could feel my organs just going, dude. And I made it back, dude. So like right now, unless we've been raided, there's like a whole bunch of new like yummies in there.
Nice, dude. It does a thing like where your own footsteps are so loud, it constantly feels like somebody's chasing you in that game. Like, did you not feel like they followed you the whole way back? Like.
I was being followed the whole way back, and I couldn't see him, man. That's what was like.
How far was it to our base to the airfield? Is that?
It's not. It's like it's a. You know, like one square. It's close,
okay,
dude.
Yeah, so not far.
It's not that far. It's not that far, but it's far enough to. You know, you got to run through the field. You know. You got to run through the field of landmines, if you will.
And. It almost seems like on those servers, like we don't need the wolves out there as well. Like if there's going to be 100 people trying to kill me, like do I also need wolves that can outrun me? Because
bears, polar bears.
Jesus,
dude, one polar bear. Like I think I mentioned it. Like I was just running through the forest and they're like, oh, there's a bear dead. It was so instant, dude. He just fucking just barely even touched me. That's so funny. And dude, I insist, man. 100 players is nothing on Rust. Like if we go to an official server, like a regular, normal, Rustopia or whatever they're called, or Rusty Moose, I think is another one. Whatever, any of those. We're talking 500 people.
It's a large map, I guess, but Jesus, that's so many. It almost seems like too, like I've run up on some bases that have been raided, but like we have. Do you feel like since there are so many opportunities to fight people wandering around, there's less raiding going on, or is that happening at the same rate? Oh,
it's happening at the same rate. I think there's raiding going on one side of the map that we're not even aware of. Like I remember thinking about that. Like I was just doing something in base. This happens often. I'll be in base and I'll just be listening, and all I can hear outside is boom, 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 just like over an explosion after explosion. And I'll almost be like tempted to write in the chat, be like, damn, it's the 4th of July over here or something, like, because it's just like everyone's just raiding. And then I'll think to myself, I bet, you can't hear that on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
And then it depends, like not all servers have the same size map.
It wouldn't make sense in the chat. I wonder something I was thinking about when we were playing last night is how before you were setting up those traps and like what the actual like rated bases that I came across looked like. You know, it seems like maybe we could build something like that looks like a base that's been rated, you know, right next to ours to get, because I kept running across things like where people had built a ramp up into the base, you know, like
Yep.
It seemed like if you just built a trap that looked like that would to me,
We're gonna do
yeah,
it.
I saw that and I was like, oh, there's a ramp in there. That's like what convinced me, you know. I was like, oh yeah, that's been rated. And then I fell in there and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get out. And I was like, this could be a trap. Like, and I was like, I should build a trap like that.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's so much fun. I don't want to go back into the traps I had built because I think we talked about it in an episode already. But dude, I was getting so much loot. I remember that one particular evening. Things were going so well, and then I got revenge raided by one of the victims of my trap. Go back and listen to that episode, fellow gamers. That's funny. But yeah, it is a good idea to do it in a separate like unit, your trap, you know, not in your main base like I did that one time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're kind of set up for that where we're at. You know, we had two spots going on there for a sec, but yeah.
Well, and you haven't seen the base that I've got going this time. It's basic. It's a similar design. It's not like anything.
Right.
Yeah, we swapped last night at last moment before the Tyson fight. We were like, you know what? Let's go find another server. That one was. We kept getting nailed by that Texas dude.
And it wasn't boosted like we were used to boosting, and it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna take 3 times as long.
I remember that guy's like, we ran up to him and we were like, please don't kill us. We're new, and he's like, I must sacrifice the white one. And then he shoots you, Chuck. It was so funny.
I forget what I look like. I guess I'm a white woman in that game.
Yeah, you got a white chick,
and
dude. Yeah,
you can't
so
change
funny.
it ever, can you? Like
No, that's your character.
from now the
That's
fuck on. Like,
and I got my character, which is so funny
looks
because
like
I
Kanye
didn't really
West.
notice. He looks just
like a spitting
Kanye.
image. Like no matter. It seemed like every garment you put on too like fits, because you never know what Kanye's going to wear. It seems like he's kind of crazy.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you, Face Punch, for giving me a character that looks just like. What is his name these days?
Yee.
Wheezy?
Yeah,
Yeezy?
I think it's his Y.
No, not Wheezy. Yeezy.
Yeah, like he shortened it.
Oh, now it's just Yee?
Yay. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Face Punch,
It does
for
look
yay.
just like him, but yeah,
it's
I
so
remember when
funny.
I found that out. Like I tried to change it.
Yesterday you were like, he still looks like Kanye.
Yeah, because I remember playing the last, probably been a year and a half ago or something, when I was, kind of playing some Rust. I had the same lady. Like, it goes. It's a lifetime roll of the dice.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd have to switch your Steam account and it'd give you a new one.
Yeah,
I think that's how that would work. But remember, you can like change your character's name. Like your character right now, like when I'm looking at you and I look above your head and it says your name there, it says like, something TL number, whatever, whatever it is. You can change that. Like mine says Ovox, but I've changed it from Ovox. I've had it as tossed salad. I've had it as many. You can change it to any name you want, as many times as you want, I think, which is cool, right? Because let's say I don't know. Let's say you raid some base or something or whatever, and they get super salty and they just keep coming after you, and they identify you by the name. You can change your name, and that can help. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's cool that you can do that. It's not like, like on PlayStation, my name is always going to be the same. You can't change it. It's always OVOXO, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, I think too, like, when I think about the experience of Rust and all, like it is fun to watch you with I think that part of the game where you can talk to the other players, like, is something that is funny to watch. Like I know you try to get me to do it, and I'm just not. It's not for me.
Dude, you got to do it, Chuck.
I'm not saying I'll never do it or anything, but
dude, just be someone else if you want. You can totally just create a persona. Have you noticed how I'm always like, hello?
Yeah.
Is anyone out there? Hello? Yeah. Like, that's not my.
It does pay off. I will like even though it's not like what's made me curious about doing it is I've seen it work for you. Like where
It's worked for me.
Yeah, people when
It's
you
worked.
say like, hey, we're just starting out, like, and you're being somewhat truthful about it, like, yeah, it people have left your shit on you instead of stealing it, and I will give you that.
Yeah, like you'll experience it all. There's complete, just, assassins out there that aren't even give you they're not even gonna make comms with you. They'll just take you out and done, take your stuff, and they're off. From running into people that will, I'll be like, hey, don't, we're new, or I don't have nothing, we're just starting out, and then they'll still take you out, and then maybe like check your stuff, take the weapon, leave everything else, and then they'll res you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec. Something just popped up here on my screen. Let me make sure this goes away.
Yeah, that's a good little like part of it, and yeah, maybe that's what I need to think of. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like one of my first thoughts is like I can't even see see me begging for my life in real life, like. So I'm just kind of
then
like,
no, then do it to cuss them out, or not cuss them out, but do it to like be like, hey man, what the hell? Just trying to get some stone, eh? You can make up an accent. Why'd you kill me, good sir? Why? What was I doing? I did nothing to harm you.
Somehow just
fucking with my shit.
Somehow I'm just picturing like me being like real reluctant to do it, and then like finally I do, and then you're like, well, like you shouldn't have said that.
You know me
it's
too
just
well.
like unleashing it. Well, I know me too well. It's like yeah.
Just like,
like
wow,
I didn't just
Chuck,
like become an
I didn't see you go in
introvert for
that
fun.
direction.
Like I became it because I realized like maybe my filter don't work sometimes.
No, dude, I cracked up so hard yesterday when that guy like let us go, and then he came back and wasted us because I hadn't taken my finger off the mic when I told him that what did I say?
I forget. You were kind of like begging for your life and all like, and then like a few seconds later, like, fuck that guy. Like, what's his name? Like, Mr. Frick.
Next thing we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back and I should have taken my finger off the mic.
What is you got to push V? Is that what? Yeah. See, I haven't even. It's just not in my mind. Usually when I'm messing with them, but yeah, maybe I'll start doing that. I think the character thing is probably a good to see that puts some sideboards on it for me because, like I say, there's just no telling.
You can make up a persona, dude. Make up a character. Make up a voice
out
and
family secrets.
Especially if there's like
my uncle's gay. Like It's like, no
he
one
puts
knows
the
it.
lotion on his skin. just wait for you're in the base, and you hear those loud ass footsteps that you were talking about. Someone runs up, and they're outside. You can hear them, like you can hear the footsteps outside, and you just hold down V.
Yeah,
and go off, dude. Just like have fun with it.
Stole the
See
money
if they
from a
respond.
tip
They'll
jar
probably
at church. Like, I don't know. The interactions are pretty funny though, but
dude, you'll crack up so hard, Chuck. The first time you give it a shot, you'll laugh so hard, man. You're gonna have so much fun. I hope I'm there when you do it. Like I'll be, we'll be in the base. You can hear someone run up, and you can start.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's gonna happen anytime soon, but maybe.
It's also fun, like when you're out exploring or you're doing something. If you can hear other people in a base, you run up to the base, and they might proactively say something. Hey, I can hear you out there. And then from there you can just have fun. Oh,
yeah. Well, there's
what you doing in there? What you doing in there? How many others you got in there? And then by that point they're freaking out. You can hear them running around, and it's
like nobody in here. Yeah. There's this famous TikTok that comes up like I've seen for years, where this guy's like kind of bopping along, and it seems like some 12-year-old type kids like kill him, and he kind of like finds where their base is and tells them, like he's gonna come back for him if they don't give him his shit back, and
Oh, I think I've seen
and then he
this,
comes
dude.
back with this posse, and they're just fucking blasting shit, and those kids are screaming like, "Brah!" like these super high pitched screams.
I've
Like,
seen
like,
that, yeah, dude.
He's like, I told you.
Oh my gosh, I gotta look for that. I want to see that
It can
again.
go super toxic at some point.
Oh, Rust is one of the worst for that.
Yeah, sometimes people, maybe that's part of it too. It'd be my luck. I'd get the craziest person on that. You're like, just try it, and then I'm like my phone rings like a few seconds later. It's some guy that has like some hacker abilities or so. It's like, fuck.
That went completely wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some YouTube videos, man, of like especially when I'm looking for, because I've YouTubed like Rust, funny chat interactions, like stuff like that, just because I think they're hilarious, man, some of the interactions that people have out there in the chat. But in looking for videos like that, you'll come across other ones where it's like, oh, toxic clans, whatever, and you'll see like the thumbnail, and you can see that there's some like really gnarly, like just bad stuff.
Yeah.
The worst kinds of toxicity you can find in gaming. But I haven't actually personally I've ran into the couple of odd players there that are a little bit toxic, or just saying some inappropriate stuff, but I've never experienced anything. In fact, most of my interactions have been just fine, nothing bad in my view.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, just the ones I've witnessed are all pretty, reasonable.
Yeah, like PG-13.
Yeah,
as we'd say back in the day.
But gosh,
barely rated R, maybe.
But why does it always feel like I'm behind the curve? Like somehow, it's like we'll get on that server, and it's like it's been open for 5 hours, and it's like people have guns, and I'm running around with a bow or a stick.
Well, we're on super boosted servers, Chuck. So a lot of those guns, are going to be in the average like toolbox on the side of the road.
Yeah.
It's no factor. And a lot of these guys are like, we're going and looking for a base spot, trying to meet each other, like trying to find each other on the map and clan up. We're just doing it to have a good time. I think a lot of players approach Rust like a lot of players approach battle royales. Like they're very competitive about it. They approach it from a different level of an intensity than we are. And I'm intentionally not trying to do that with Rust. I just want to have fun because I'm aware of the hyper PvP-ness. There's just no way we're going to survive and keep anything.
Yeah.
That's part of the wipe cycle that I love is like where in Ark I would like inevitably fall in love a little bit with some of the loot and some of the tames and everything. You inevitably like you get attached to it. Like
holy shit.
I forgot to mention this yesterday. Like I remember you were running back to the base and you're like, dude, I got a fucking Thomas. I was like, and you were stoked, and I thought about it in my brain, but I didn't vocalize it. But I was going to say like, cool, use it, have fun with it. Like you're going to need it, and I didn't. And then, I didn't say that. And then if I remember, like you were getting close and eventually you got nailed and someone took all that stuff.
It was a fucking turret and it was like a rifle turret. And yeah. Oh yeah. I was happy for a minute. I did have it in my hand. I hadn't got to fire it yet, but I loaded it and was bopping along. Yeah. I just happened to be going along and found an airdrop and I saw it go down and had scooped it up. But yeah, I think too, like I'd like to make that little bit of a contrast, like coming from Ark, because like I said, I still had played some Ark Ascended. I think last episode, I said like I'm going back to Ark Survival Evolved, or I'm coming back to Ascended and buying Bob's Tall Tales and going all in, and ultimately that's what led it to me, and I think it was some of the creature comforts of it. Like just the new things in the that are like the map working so much better and things like that are one of the things that brought me back. Plus, Survival Evolved like it still crashes a shit ton, like when you're changing maps and stuff, and I don't know, it almost feels like is there anybody that's working on patches and shit for that anymore? Like it just seems like that's just something that like you kind of have to live with. And now that it's kind of in that state of its life, like it feels more. Yeah, it just one day I was like, fuck it, like I got tired of it crashing, and thought, I'm at least gonna go whip out a new map, and I found a pretty decent server, and just the graphics are better, the whole thing, but the PvP, like I was kind of thinking of it like in terms of Rust versus it, because we were kind of talking about that in the last episode and things, and I did go look, like I don't know that it's a completely fair comparison, because there are ARC servers that are just as full. Like we don't play on them. And something about Arc Ascended, it doesn't show you all the possible servers. It seems to pick about like 80 ones that it thinks you might like or something, and doesn't show them, because you can search like a term, you know, like trios or something,
you're right
and
about
all of a
that.
sudden you're seeing servers that it didn't show a minute ago. But if you go look at official servers, they're jam packed, just like you're talking about. But
and it's fair to mention too that if we were to go and look at Ark Survival Ascended on PC, it probably, because Rust is on PC, right? And there's probably a lot more Ark players on PC than there are on console.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm actually not certain about that at all. But I would add that into the equation as an uncertainty for me. And but it is fair to say that, like, because right now we're playing on a private Rust server. It's our equivalent of a private server on Ark, right? And there's like 150 players, and that's a fraction of what there could be on Rust, which is up to like 500, I think. I've even heard things of like 800 player. Don't quote me on that, but for sure, when I look at the list, I see 500, and there'll be like 400 in there, or something. So I think even on an Ark official server, they don't go up that high.
Yeah.
I think even on an official Ark server, I think it goes up to like 100 maybe or something, maybe 80 or something, I think. I don't know.
I do feel like it almost seems like Rust is streamlined for the PvP experience, where like there's a whole like, dinosaur game over here with Ark as well, that has like 1 billion you could spend the rest of your life, dealing with, whereas Ark is where Rust is just like streamlined. There's a good, shit, I was playing a guitar yesterday in there, like there's plenty of, like peripheral type shit, but like far as it's sort of core.
It's DNA, it's core. Yeah. You're bowing up fast the second you're.
Yeah, and it feels like that. Like it almost feels like you're in a dangerous world, but the most dangerous thing is the other human beings. Like, because they're in a dystopian survival kind of situation. Like they nail that part of it, man. It does feel like, oh my God, like.
Yeah, especially when like, man, there's moments in that game that like resonate with me really intensely, like especially because a lot of players will turn the volume all the way down, especially the ones that take it much more seriously, and I turned it down too, because we all want to be able to hear footsteps and those little subtle like sound keys to know like if we're in danger. But I left the music up just a touch, because I really do like the dystopian, like really like ambient like sound, like do 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 do, just like I love the soundtrack. And there's moments where I'll be running with my bow or something, or just running to back to the base, and the sun will be setting, and the sunsets are insanely beautiful in the game. The sun will be setting, and I can see like the abandoned dome in the background, just like all super dystopian, dude. And the music's just like ding, ding, and I'm just like, and I can hear my footsteps, and it's just like, oh God.
And it fucking means something that it's gotten dark, man. I mean, it's like, it's dark as fuck, and you can't see. Like, you thought you were going to still get some hemp or whatever the hell, and you can't see shit, man. You're just like...
Not until the moon comes out.
And then you hear stuff like all of a sudden.
Dude, last night we were in our fucking base just having a great time trying to figure out what in the fuck was outside our door, dude. Just like, because all of a sudden we heard the wolves, just like right outside, like, yeah, that damn wolves is still out there. And then he had a pack with him. And then remember we heard a horse or something come up, and then they started attacking, and we'd hear like the roofs just go, and then the horse was like, just like we're like, what the fuck's going on out there?
Fuck.
It's like we weren't even battling anyone, and it was insane.
And you just
dude.
know there's some sweaty ass little kid out there with night vision goggles somewhere, just like waiting for you to try to come out.
Yeah, to come deal with the horse or some shit, dude. Just waiting for you with a double barrel shotgun. Yeah,
dude. There's so many times I'm walking along and I see something like, oh, there's an empty box, where I'm just like, and you just forget there for a second that there could be traps, and like. And then when you're
that there will be traps.
As soon as you're getting it, like you're like, oh shit, is this a trap? Like, and I haven't really gotten trapped a lot, but I have that realization a fuck ton, like, oh shit, this could be a trap.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, it's fun though. I do. I remember that part of the game you're talking about where you can practice your PvP. I remember going there at some point, like back in the day. I don't know if I'm going to get that crip walk thing you're doing the whatever that to make like why like how you're walking along like kind of bobbing up and down like
oh dude, you'll get it, man. And it's not something that I always go to. I only use it in very pressured situations because I have the patience to just walk in full crouch. I'll just hold crouch and walk. And when you crouch, you make 0 footprints.
Yeah, that's gonna be
make 0 sound.
What I need to do.
But if you need to if you're in a pressured situation and you need to move a little bit faster, you can basically do the what you do is if you're in a pressured situation where you want to move faster and still make 0 sound, what they do is, and you'll see this, you'll see it in like YouTube videos, you'll see in TikTok videos, gamers, you'll see them doing this weird crouch thing. And the reason they're doing that is because it allows them to move a little bit faster than just a constant crouch while still making 0 footstep sounds.
I get it now. See,
so when you what you do is you'll just hit the crouch button over and over again, but you got to time it right so that you that's the thing. Even after I've been practicing it so much, dude, and every now and then I'll still hear a footstep will still come out. And that the way to master it is to be able to do that, and it makes no footstep sounds.
I see. When you first told me that, for some reason I thought just holding crouch still made a noise. I thought you meant that just holding crouch was still going to make a noise, and we had to do that to be completely quiet. So I didn't realize it was just to go faster.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dude.
No, you probably said it that way. I just, for whatever reason, that's how I took it. So I was like.
Well, I was also relaying that information to you at the worst possible moment where we were in the middle of a monument trying to get out of there. We were trying to it's that was I should have mentioned that. Hold on, stop right there. In this completely unsafe spot in a highly transited monument loaded with loot. Hold up. No, we'll be okay.
I love it. I'm gonna take this right back to where we started with the look on Mike Tyson's face when they showed that. That's me when you're like, yeah, let's transfer over to Discord and talk on there on audio.
Hey, it worked out though.
It did, but God,
we figured it all out.
There's just something about when you get old, man. Any computer thing, there's just a natural -5 penalty, right when you start. You're just okay.
Yeah, it's a debuff.
Yeah. God had to nerf me, just a little bit. He has to nerf you as you get older. You got more money, so he's like, all right, here you go. We're going to have all computer shit just fuck up for you. Yeah.
You fucking fans all sideways and shit. And fucking
Yeah. I've got
Your
like a
fan
cleaning
starts
light.
walling up and it's hitting the side of the PC box. It's all right. It'll be all right. It'll line itself out here in a second. Don't worry about the graphics card.
See, that was my morning, man. I was fixing my computer, and what I did, that fan was making that noise, and I got my Audacity out and checked it, and it was still it was picking it up. So I took the computer part and I put a rag in there, and stopped it. But my first thought was I'm just gonna stick, like a pencil or something in here to stop it. And then I pictured me sticking it in the actual one working fan, because they're right beside each other. I was just like, eh. Just get in bed.
This is gonna go wrong.
Yeah, so doing about 45 minutes of that, following up also let's add in you can't just crouch. We need you to also pop up and down randomly.
Yeah. So, So conclusion there is, if you hold crouch down and move forward, you'll be 100% silent.
I see. Yeah, that's probably.
If you release crouch and you walk or run, you're going to make those footstep sounds, which, as you mentioned, are quite loud. They are indeed. But if you walk, just walk, regular walk, and hit the crouch button at this regular pace, it'll make the character go up and down in a way that gives you a faster movement.
I get
than
it
just
now.
Crouch walking.
Because the footstep sound, when you're actually walking at your fast pace, it's not every footstep. It's almost like every third one or whatever. I see where there's room for moving and not being stood up and not making a sound, for a little bit. And
and I'm gonna look for some content that I can share with you on this. But I remember seeing a tips video where they said if you're ever running full sprint and you feel like there's someone running behind you, coming up on you, and you feel like you can hear an additional footstep, he says to just keep sprinting and jump. And when you jump, you'll be able to hear a continuation of steps when you shouldn't, because you'll be in the air. Okay. Right? And then the second you land, you keep running, but now oh yeah, there is someone behind me. Just little stuff that makes your heart race, dude.
How do people always have time to figure that shit out too? There's just oh my God. I've been seeing these memes lately. It'll actually be a video or it'll be a comment on a video that when you see a video on social media of somebody just doing something insane, this one particular one, it was this guy, he had these big, tall, little statues, and he was rolling them over, and he was almost juggling them on the ground. Like there were three of them, and as one of them would stand up, he would tip the other one over and do that. And the first comment at the top was, "That's why I quit juggling oblong objects on the ground. Too many sweats." in these days. They've kind of taken that from video games, where, just anything, there's somebody that's gotten just too fucking into it, at a level you're just not gonna. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, man, we should wrap it up. We're already well over an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
This has been one fun podcast, man.
I'm excited to play some
good
more.
laughs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna edit this thing and get it up on the network and get it out there for all of our fellow gamers and listeners. And to that effect, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed episode 60. If you enjoy the pod, please give us a like, a follow, a review. A 5-star rating would be super helpful. Share it with your fellow gamers out there, especially if they're into the old podcasts. And we appreciate it tons. It helps us get out there to more gamers and listeners. Thank you all, and thank you, ChukTomahawk, for being an awesome fellow gamer.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, Ovox.